Welcome back to Buy or Sell, the series where you pitch me your predictions for the theme park world, and I either buy or sell them and explain why. If you want your idea considered for the next video, leave a comment below starting with buy or sell. In this episode, we look at the future of the Superman Tower at Magic Mountain, how mind-blowing the new coaster at Universal Studios Great Britain might be, and if we will see another big Six Flags purge at the end of the 2025 season. This is Buy or Sell, episode 41. Let's start with Ride Op J and JK Car 11. The closures of Kid Flash Cosmic Coaster at Over Georgia and Fiesta, Texas will be the death knell for Skyline attractions. Skyline got started making their own coasters in 2018, but around the same time, they had been working to design wooden coasters for GCI. Some of these are amazing: Mystic Timbers, Texas Stingray, Wicker Man, and they have 4 more under construction. But when it comes to their compact steel coasters, I'm buying them being done. They've had some different ideas. The Skywarp was supposed to be the new Larson Loop, an extreme ride in a tiny package. Only 2 of those were built. They were a mess and they closed down. But then they came out with their Pescetti Bowl coasters, single rail family rides that looked like great options for both big and small parks, and Six Flags was obviously excited about it. They bought 2 in 1 year, and these somehow became an even bigger disaster. You could argue they might come up with another idea that changes the game, but after the failure of the first 2 models, you'd have to be pretty brave. Not to mention, have faith in your job security to go back to Skyline. With all the other options out there, especially when it comes to small family coasters, why take the chance? Random name. X2 closes in 5 years or less. I struggle with this one. We aren't sure what Six Flags is going to do in the future. We will discuss that in more depth later, but we do know there are certain problematic coasters the new chain saw right away and pulled the plug fast. X2 was spared in this initial wave, but how long can it last? Maybe it would have been on the chopping block had they not already decided to kill Superman. Or maybe they really like having X2 in the park. What it does for that lineup. A one-of-a-kind coaster in North America, having that insane-looking coaster greeting everyone as they enter the parking lot. I may be wrong, but I'm selling this leaving in the next 5 years. If you said 10 years, I'd probably buy, but like Viper, I think Six Flags goes out of their way to save this as long as they can, and maybe direct their focus on other rides like Ninja or Scream to go next. The Pirate Princess 23 and Coyote Bravo. Magic Mountain will repurpose Superman's Tower for a new attraction, or reuse the station for a new ride. We know that Lex Luthor is going to stay, so that tower isn't going anywhere. It's going the same route as Tower of Terror at Dreamworld, ripping out all that track leading up to the tower, but still having a premier attraction at the park, that being a massive drop tower. It's very possible they reuse Superman's station for a future ride. It's kind of weird being inside an ice cave, not being well suited for a full circuit. Not to mention, it's on top of that giant hill, not a fun walk and kinda hard to find. But the land where that track is, I think that's a prime plot. The new Vekoma suspended motorbike coaster might take up some of that, we'll see, but I'm selling the tower being repurposed in any way. I don't think they expand the number of gondolas for Lex Luthor. I don't think it's incorporated into their next ride. But I do think they'll use the land where the track was for something in the future. Vertigo. Kings Island's new family thrill attraction won't be a coaster, and instead will fill the Crypt building. I definitely do not think their new family thrill ride will be a coaster. They just got a family coaster. They're chock full of family coasters. And even though a Big Bear Mountain style launch coaster would be awesome, and could even take up the Vortex plot, I don't think they're going that route. I do think it will be some kind of flat ride, and you'd think anything like a Screaming Swing or anything big wouldn't be considered a family thrill. So I'm going to take a chance on this and buy something filling the Crypt building. This is pretty close to Planet Snoopy. It's been sitting there for over a decade since the Crypt closed, only used for Madame Fatale's Cavern of Terror during Haunt. They could put some kind of cool family-friendly flat ride in there. Theme it well. Maybe keep the Crypt-style theming. New England got Cyborg Hyperdrive a few years back. I could see something like that at Kings Island. Mr. Single Rider, the best one. Cedar Point and Kings Island will start to lose investment in the Six Flags chain, focusing on parks like Magic Mountain and Great Adventure. When it comes to this merger, we're going to be dealing with one chain, sure, but it will be treated like 2 chains in a lot of ways. We're used to seeing these chains get 2 or 3 coasters per year, but that was with half the parks and half the revenue. This is a super chain, and if they keep their 2 to 3 coasters per year, that's a very raw deal for us, and I'll officially say this merger was a bust and bad for the customer. I'm selling this because I don't think the merger dilutes the investment. We will see the big parks from the Legacy Six Flags and Legacy Cedar Fair chains continue to get investment. So we can expect 5, 6, maybe 7 coasters in the chain every year. So those lucky parks on a 4 to 5 year timeline for a major new coaster, they should continue to pile up the coasters, and those that are considered the have-nots. Well, just be happy you're still in the chain and didn't get sold off. Westkid 01 and What AG 23. Six Flags has another coaster purge in the 2025-26 offseason. We saw a massive purge at the end of 2024 and bleeding into 2025, something that had to have been related to the merger. By my count, 9 coasters were taken out of the chain. There are some years when only 2 or 3 major coasters get the axe. So the question is, at the end of 2025, what's Six Flags coming for next, if anything? I think they got a lot of the coasters they wanted to axe in 2024, aside from the Kid Flash coasters. Those were just a mess. And Lava Bora, that needed to be removed with a new dive coaster. These were problematic and unpopular coasters that they've been dying to get rid of. Still, I'm buying another purge coming in 2025. Maybe we don't see 9 coasters go, but maybe we see 5. I can see in Vertigo at Kings Island being gone. Boomerang at Six Flags St. Louis could be taken out and replaced with a flat ride. Vertical Velocity at Great America could be in danger, another impulse. The Flash at Discovery Kingdom could be in even more danger. There have been rumors about the LIM Mr. Freeze coasters, and for that matter, the 2 Flight of Fear coasters. I think the bigger the park, the more likely they are to axe a coaster, because I do believe this chain is looking toward the future and wanting to replace the old with the new. So if your park does remove a coaster, it may suck at first, but you can look forward to having it replaced with something better, and that leads me right into my next question. Cameron Rose and W coasters. Six Flags Great Adventure will continue declining in attendance and overall park experience under the new merger. 2025 might be kind of a rough year for Great Adventure. They do have the Flash to help them, so maybe they'll be fine. That 1-year delay might end up saving them in the end, but they made some people mad with the way they handled the King to Cost situation. Maybe 99% of the people don't care and it's only the enthusiasts, but I wouldn't be surprised if this transitional year turns out to be a down year. That being said, I'm selling a decline in attendance becoming a trend. I think this chain has big plans for Great Adventure, and we're going to see that in the 2026 season when they open their record-breaking launch coaster. Even if it is that spinning shuttle coaster, and the same 1% of enthusiasts that are mad about King to Ka are mad about that, it's still going to be a visual spectacle right in the front of the park, right for everyone to see when they come into the park. It's going to be a big hit, albeit possibly a capacity nightmare. Great Adventure has always taken out their rides in favor of new ones. I mean, this park has seen 30 coasters come and go, 17 defunct, 13 current. Having Frontier City as a home park, I gotta say, I'd rather be in Great Adventure's shoes. Sure, we never lose any rides, but we never get anything either. So when you think of it that way, these purges aren't so bad. Zach Rudelhuber. Thorpe Park and Mock Rides will add a spinning or backwards facing car to Hyperia. This is one of the great mysteries of the theme park world. Why aren't more parks investing in the upcharge back row experiences? Australia has totally bought in. Blackpool did the same for Icon, but not till after it was already open. When it comes to Mock Rides and GCI, it seems to me like all their new coasters should have this, so I'm buying it eventually coming to Hyperia. As big as this is, and as wild as those elements are, they did it for DC Rivals, so why not Hyperia too? Jackson Bachman. Aijanika never reopens after the accident that recently occurred. Japan is famous for being very thorough when it comes to theme park accidents. Just from my documentaries on American parks, I've seen rides reopen within a day after an employee death, once investigators come in and find out what happened. Roll and Thunder at Great Adventure, Revolution at Magic Mountain, Excalibur at Astroworld. But in Japan, it works a bit different. We've seen an accident on Twist Coaster Robin on its opening day. That actually closed the ride down after 1 day of operation. We saw a tug with stand-up coaster derail and kill a rider at Expo Land, closing that ride for good. And the park as a whole didn't make it the rest of the year. We also saw almost the same exact thing happen to Aijanika in 2007. An employee was seriously injured in a very similar manner. The vehicle started moving while inspecting the ride. I can't find how long it closed that time around, but obviously it reopened. It also closed for 2 months in 2012 when a bolt fell from a vehicle and hit a woman down below. This incident is different because it did result in a death. I'm not sure how that factors into the investigation, but given this didn't happen to a guest during the ride, and assuming this was some kind of human error and not following procedures, I'm selling this closing forever. Apparently, the police are doing an investigation. At the time of this recording, it's been about 2 months since the accident, and I don't know how long it'll take. But I don't think this is the end of Aijanika. I'm not super optimistic about it being open when I go there in July, but I have no control over that. It is what it is. Okay, just an update. I did record this about a week ago when I had no idea what was going on. Now we know that the latest news came out that Aijanika will be reopening on May 1st. So that is great news and makes this whole thing obsolete. But this is what I was thinking a week ago, so take it for what it is. Teddy's Amusements, P Lighting Engineered, and AJ96. Universal Studios Great Britain's Blue Coaster will be the tallest coaster in England. This park was recently confirmed, and everyone seems pretty excited about the artwork that came out, especially that awesome looking blue coaster off to the side of the park. So, what is this? Who's gonna build it? And will it be the tallest coaster in England? It looks like it could be from Vekoma, could be from Mock Rides, or the obvious pick, it could be from Intamin. And given Universal's relationship with Intamin, that's the most obvious answer. If it is from Intamin, it's possible the top hat could be up to 400 feet, or 300 feet, or 200 feet, or 150 feet. Anything is possible, but this is universal, and it would be off-brand for them to go with something that huge. Hyperia is currently the tallest coaster in England, and that's 236 feet, so I'm selling that top hat exceeding that mark. I think Hyperia's record is safe for now. No co-prods. We will never see another Intamin prefab ever made. We saw 4 of these open between 2001 and 2008, and these are very appealing. It's a wooden coaster, but with that prefabricated track, and the size of these coasters, I'm sure it wasn't cheap to order one up. But if you did, that would become the star of your park. Super forceful, tons of airtime, and just like that, you have one of the best coasters in the world. I don't think it's a coincidence that this ended in 2008. After the economy crash, this wasn't as appealing. And over the years, we've seen these have major issues. Colossus needed a major retrack. El Toro has had its problems. T-Express is getting RMC track this year. So, as great and smooth as these are when they open, they still have problems. So I'm buying this never being sold again. Too expensive up front and known issues down the road. I think Intamin is out of the wooden coaster market. Pineapple 46. Mindbuster becomes one of the best rides at Canada's Wonderland after its retracking. You always love to see it. An old rough wooden coaster is getting some TLC, and I don't mean RMC. I don't even mean Titan Track. I'm talking about the new trend of Gravity Group retracking 1,000 feet of Mindbuster. One of the worst coasters I've ever been on. And the last time I rode it, I wondered why it was still in the park. The new track will help, but it's not just that. They're even changing the layout. The drop is going to be steeper. They're changing the height of one hill, and even adding in another one. But is this all enough to make it one of the best rides in the park? I'm buying that. Not only because I'm optimistic about this retrack, but because Canada's Wonderland doesn't have a lot to get psyched about. They have the 3 B&Ms, they have Alpenfury coming this year, and they have Vortex. This could possibly challenge Vortex for number 5 in the park, but more likely, this works its way to number 6. Canada's Wonderland does not like removing coasters. They saved that dishonor for Togo stand-ups and Zaprola Volares, so it's good to see them trying to improve some of their bad ones. That's a wrap on episode 41. Let me know what you think about any of these topics, if you agree or disagree, and why. Also, don't forget, if you want your idea considered for the next video, leave it in the comments below, starting with buy or sell. Before you go, don't forget to drop a like, and if you're new here and love coasters, please give me a sub. I have a playlist with all the buy or sell episodes. I want to thank my Patreons. If you want bonus access, bonus content, and have your name listed at the end of each video, check my links below and join. Also, check out my second channel, where I post copyright-free off-ride footage. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.